Hello, Mitchell. Calling in quite late. It's what, almost 9 p.m. for you, I believe?
Yeah,
Right.
almost
Oh,
9 p.m.
okay. Over in Singapore. Could you give an introduction about yourself?
Okay, hi, my name is Mitchell. I'm a director of photography by trade, but I have recently been able to pick up a lot more of the editing and the content creation campus, as well as AI in terms of mid-journey, stable diffusion, etc.
hmm Director of photography. How did you get into that?
Yeah, how I got into that? Well, personally, I've always been more of an ambitious individual with regards to the passions that I have. So, in order to for me to reach the level that I wanted to, was unfortunately I didn't do very well in the traditional education that Singapore has, where it's the Cambridge O level system. So, in order to sort of learn the art of filmmaking a little bit more, I snuck into film school classes and actually managed to meet an adjunct lecturer who is a part-time lecturer who became my mentor and taught me a lot of things that I knew. And slowly, my career managed to escalate from there. So I'm very blessed and very lucky to have been put in this position and sort of grow and as an overall individual and grow my craft.
Okay. First thing I heard you say is, unfortunately, you had bad grades. But at this point, with how the school system is going, I'd say fortunately, because you really don't need it. And then you say you snuck into lectures in a university
Yes,
campus. Did I understand it correctly?
yes.
Wait,
So
explain
in
that. You being a
explain
smooth
that.
criminal with a mask on, sneaking into
Uh,
lectures. What was the process there?
Okay, the process there was mainly I had a best friend that I really wanted to work with, and I told him, "Hey, we're gonna go into film school. We're gonna make a bunch of great films. It's gonna be you're gonna write. I'll shoot it. I'll direct it. It's gonna be great." And then I missed it by 1 point because the
Ah,
Cambridge system. I missed it by 1 point. Like, oh my god! And then obviously I didn't manage to get in, but because I still had that connection, he occasionally allowed me to enter the classes with the part-time lecturer. Not so much the full-time lecturer; they'll know who their students are, but the part-time lecturer wouldn't bother to really remember all the names, especially if you enter at the start. So he didn't notice that I wasn't one of his students until I think maybe lesson 2 or 3. He was like, "Wait, this person, he never comes to take attendance. He's always sneaking in at the towards the end once attendance is done. Who on earth is this man?" And obviously he didn't confront me, but he was curious at least. He was like, I don't see your name. Is your name in here? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not. I came clean. I dropped the ball. I'm like, I came clean. I didn't. I was not your student, but I really love filmmaking, and I really want to learn more from people who know a lot more than I do. Because at the time, I was shit, dog shit, horrible. So I wanted to learn from a lot of people who are far more experienced than I am. And thankfully, by the grace of God, he was willing to take me under his wing, and overall, he gave me like a part time internship while I was doing my school, and I was able to really grow as an individual and grow my craft and learn everything. Eventually, uh, building a lot of connections to the point where I've gotten to where I am today.
wow. Well, when Andrew Tate says you don't need university, I don't think he means that you don't need to like buy it and then you can sneak in. I think he just means that you can learn everything yourself. But in your case, why learn everything yourself when you can just sneak in and learn from
Yeah.
professors? So yeah, very interesting.
The funny thing is that it's not exactly university; it's polytechnic. So in
Ah,
Singapore, we have a system called polytechnic, where you don't get into an absurd amount of student debt. There's obviously the university part where you get the degree, but in Singapore, you have the level of diploma. Almost treat it like a specialized high school diploma. You can study media, you can study coding, you can study business or communication, etc.
mhm. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. And how many years ago was this that you were sneaking into
Wow.
Polytechnic?
Okay. That was 6 years ago. I'm
Oh
currently
wow.
23. Yeah. And it's been a very long time since then.
So yeah, 6 years of experience in actually in what? What did you end up doing then with the skills you learned and the and the lessons and skills, everything.
Uh, how how I went about it was eventually I became a director of photography for not only a company but just in general by trade. So I would be a director of photography for commercials, for commercials, for corporate videos, and like for YouTube. So I would be the man behind the camera, handling the cinematography for a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of short films, and a lot of commercials, whether it's food or whether it's like products, that kind of thing.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
And considering all that, what ended up leading you to join the real world?
Okay. So here's the thing. I have never treated the real world as a scam. I've always thought that the real world was something that a lot of people should have joined, but I would say that the overall confidence that I had in myself and the lack of humility that I had was my reason for not joining the real world up until March 2023. The reason I joined the real world was I got humbled severely from someone in the industry that really showed me how much you could be doing, like the amount of potential I could have really sort of squeezed out of myself. But I wasn't able to do that. I wasn't like pushing myself to that level. And I thought, okay, there's no way I can solely just try to sit in a corner and just focus the entire time. I need something to constantly grow myself, and the real world was what provided that. The real world was what helped me not make stupid business decisions as a freelancer or not make stupid business decisions as a business owner. And that's the value that I saw when I heard all of the business lessons from Andrew Tate, because I think it's a little bit iffy, but there are some people who uploaded Andrew's old lessons from Hustlers University, part one, like the first one, onto
Hmm.
YouTube. And I the first like few lessons I heard, I'm like, okay, this guy knows exactly what he's talking about when it comes to business. I need to learn from him. And even if I don't learn from him directly, the people that are associated with him have some bits of nuggets, something that I definitely have not learned just yet.
Hmm.
And that's what made me join the real world.
Okay. And when you say you got humbled by someone in your industry, is there some more you can say about that?
When I mean humbled, I mean I thought that I was at a level where, you know, I wouldn't say I was perfect at my craft, but I was healthy at my craft. I was very confident in my skills, and I was confident that I could deliver. And despite doing some work that was on the job, and I still did a relatively good job. I still gave myself a pat on the back. It's still a good video. It's still something great to like a good experience overall. But when I spoke to the director who was, directing me as a director of photography, as a cinematographer, I learned the trade, like a little bit of the trade secrets that, and the amount of money that he could earn solely based on the fact that he understood business. He understood what worked and what didn't, and how to go about negotiation, how to go about interacting and having the right etiquette, business etiquette, as well as social etiquette, in order to achieve like multiple clients consecutively on a regular basis that you don't even money is barely an issue. It's almost like a
Mhm.
tool. And that was a world that I wanted to reach. But he wouldn't share that with me because those are his trade secrets. And I wasn't close enough to him to really figure that out. And I'm like, okay, there has to be someone who can give me some lessons on how to do it.
All right. Okay. And since you mentioned the first lessons from Tate, it's I don't know if you can call it coincidence or what, but the last time I listened to them was maybe a year and a half ago, and as of probably a few days ago, I went back into Arno's lessons now, and I'm going for his breakdowns of Tate's 100 lessons. I think I'm on lesson
Yeah.
11 now. So yeah, just going for it myself as well, just because of how interesting it is and the insights you
Yes.
gain. And it's something you can listen to over and over. because you'll always pick up something new just because of how vast it is.
Yeah, specifically, it's his financial wizardry.
Hmm.
That that um, entire like tutorial or that module itself was is invaluable. The amount of business lessons that you learn for like US $50, it saves you so much money or it gives you so much profit. That's the main thing that I learned today. I think I've more than quintupled the money that I spent just by in like 1 month. The moment I joined the real world in March, and the business lessons that I learned, uh, so on and so forth, I've more than quintupled the amount of money that I earned just at the snap, just like that,
Hmm.
just by implementing the idea of speed and what was the other one? Famous the Goose. Those are my two favorites. Yeah, those are the ones that really like have the most effect on my career, especially. So those were the main things that I really really loved. Oh yeah, and hard close. Hard close was really important.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, solid. And I would like a breakdown then of what you remember going from when you joined until now, month to month, the lessons you were learning, how you implemented them, and what they changed.
Okay. So I joined in March, but in terms of really taking it seriously, I only started to really take it seriously in July. But I was still watching Andrew's lessons throughout from the period from March to July. I was mainly learning from the business mastery, as well as the e-commerce and trying out trading in cryptocurrency, but I lost interest after that. I'm sorry. It's just I just couldn't. I just
Mhm.
it was too fucking boring. So that was the main thing that really hindered my growth when I first joined the real world. It was a, a sense of boredom. But the moment the content creation campus came out, and a few things that happened within my family that led me to realizing that I need to be the man of the house. I need to have a lot more responsibility. I truly like dedicated myself to learning content creation, as well as learning more about AI, Midjourney, Stable Diffusion, and how I can implement that into my workflow and value add that to the clients that I have, or potentially use them as a way to pitch to my clients if I wanted to secure a job. Because people will just like the usual industry people, you just reference things that they find off the internet. But if you manage to come up with something original, even if it's from Midjourney, people at least see the effort and they'll go with you instead. So that was a lot of those came a lot from Andrew's lessons, where he understood and he constantly beat it into my head, like, "Hey, you need to work hard. There's no, there's, there's no point in being lazy." That I think. Oh wait, the last lesson that was so important. You already, and I think I can quote him word for word. You already have a business plan. You're just fucking lazy. And that was something that really stung. It stung. Andrew's words sting, but it's the truth. So that's what really hit the most. So in terms of that, that journey, like when I watched that in July, I just like fuck. There's no way someone is gonna constantly berate me, and I'm not gonna do something about it. So, so it allowed me to really like hustle a lot more and really focus and deep dive into becoming a workaholic. In
Mhm.
terms of my sleep schedule, I get maybe 3 to 4 hours at best, and then the rest of it is just working, shooting, or editing. Yeah.
And what do you say to people who call that excessive, working so much, and saying that you need time to relax or at least sleep properly?
Well, I would say there's a recent lesson that he recently came out with. Let me check. I believe I watched it. Okay, work is all you do. That is module 6, the last lesson, unit 6. Work is all you do. What he means by that is not to not have fun, but to implement work into your everyday life. If you need to go for dinner and you want to go to a nice place, make it a business meeting. If you want to go out on a date. Let's say for me, I have a girlfriend, right? If you want to go out on a date with a girlfriend, go to a place where you can learn something, whether it's a skill or understand a business. That is what I mean by, but that is what he meant by work is all you do. Because if you can multitask like how he does, you are able to still be engaged in a conversation, but still understand your surroundings and make the business side of things a topic of discussion, whether you're on a date or whether you're with your family, because it can always be, it can you can always implement it into the conversation, and you can always make that your work. You can always make that your hobby. Like working is my passion. What I do for work is my passion and exactly what I love. So it's more of like how to extrapolate that and really sort of expand and turn into this like machine that doesn't stop working until you burn out for a bit and then you're back on the track.
Mhm.
And obviously, vitamins, eating healthy, exercising helps a lot.
Right. Optimizing that, of course. Otherwise, probably wouldn't be sustainable for you to be doing that with a bad sleep, with a bad exercise routine, bad nutrition. Would be a lot harder
Yeah.
to maintain, I'm sure. All right. As you're explaining all of this, I'm just thinking to myself, it's interesting just how unique we all are and interest in things. Because when you said you just couldn't sit and stare at a chart all day, I guess something I actually wouldn't mind doing is just because I wanted to learn business lessons, other things. As in, I want to network with people, and I just want to take a different approach to making money. But at some point in my life, I was just looking at charts, and I was completely happy doing it. And in your case, what actually do you like about photography and filming and all that aspect of it?
I think the main thing is about creating. When you create something, you end up feeling a sense of pride that you have created that specific thing. Or when you have honed something to such a minute detail, even if most people don't see it, you yourself know, hey, it's I did my best, but I really gave it my best. I made sure that I have the right equipment, the right tools for the job. I planned accordingly, and I managed to get and achieve the result I wanted. That is what gives me that high. But to expand on the fact that why I loved photography so much was that when you're doing photography or when you're doing filmmaking, you are constantly outside. It's very difficult to be indoors and do photography unless you're in a studio. But even then, that allows you to have so much control over a lot of things, and that constantly allows you to challenge yourself. The main thing was I wanted to constantly feel challenged, both physically and mentally. If you're constantly always having to think of a new shot that would look good, and always constantly being met with a bunch of uncontrollable variables, that sparks like a lot of interest. That's the meaning of life to me. Like that's what I really love to do. And photography is just one of the. It just so happens to be one of the creative avenues that you can use to really challenge yourself and really, I would say, and really make money while challenging yourself and getting that high of creating.
Well, that was with a lot of passion, so it makes sense that you're into this. Because yeah, again, just interesting how everyone is so unique and finds different interests, which
Yeah.
is obvious, but not something you think about day to day usually. So, all right, then considering the lessons you've learned in the real world and the campuses you've gone through, what has it led to financially in terms of monetary gain?
So from July up to October, I've managed to obtain $32,000 worth of revenue. And from the 30% profit margin that I'm able to obtain from my company, I have managed to earn 9,705 in profit. So this is on top of my full-time job that I also have with my company, and it's more of like a side hustle. So I've managed to obtain 32,000 in revenue as a side hustle.
Right. Quite significant, eh? As a side hustle. Very nice. Congratulations on that. What kind of
Hard to
services
beat
do
the
you?
15-year-old. Hard to beat the 15-year-old. Jesus Christ, there's no way I can. I have
At
no
this
idea how
point,
to
I've
beat
had
that
a lot of
15-year-old.
15-year-olds. So just to clarify, you're speaking about the copywriting guy who Alex
Yeah.
who made 85,000.
Yes. Yeah. 85,000 exactly. Jesus.
Actually, it's more now. He's made over 100,000 now at this point. It was
My
just during our
gosh.
last
Wow.
interview that he had 85k, but now he's past the 100k threshold. So yeah,
Wow.
there you go.
Well done to him.
Oh yeah, and he recently turned 16. So at least there's that. You're no longer competing with a 15-year-old. He is now 16.
Oh my god. And maybe let's expand a little bit more on that because when you join the real world, you are faced with endless competition. The leaderboard, when you look at the wins, you always look at the person at the top like, how how did he get to that amount in that month? How on earth did he do it? And obviously, I try to DM some of these guys. Depends on whether you get a reply. But the main thing is that when you look at that leaderboard, it brings out that competitive edge that I always have. Like I personally love competition. That's why I personally love doing boxing. I love doing Muay Thai. I love watching competitions. So it brings out that competitive edge that I have. People say don't have competitive edge. Just like focus on you. That's a little bullshit. Competition is healthy if it does if it doesn't become your obsession. It's always good to have a little bit of competition and always know that there's always someone better than you because that will push you more to better yourself. And that's what the real world offers. That leaderboard, knowing that there are people doing better than you and knowing that there are secrets that you don't know is what should drive you to constantly improve and constantly be better.
Mhm. Very well said. Okay. Do I have anything to add to that? Probably not. But yeah, fair enough. Because I think anything I would say would be a bit of a ramble and basically say the same thing. So yeah, no point of following up too much. But what else do we have then? How has your average day changed since you've joined the real world? How different is it now compared to before?
Well, in terms of the average day change, I'm basically a workaholic. I'm either on a shoot, I am speaking to a client in a car, editing in a car, or editing at home. Or spending time with my girlfriend. I get the occasional like time with my girlfriend every now and then. But in terms of day to night, maybe I wake up 7:30, 7:30 most of the time to either go for a shoot or to start editing. And then I come back home. I would say usually around 7:30 as well. Continue the edit or continue to render things, and then eat food and everything, and then probably go to sleep close to 2 to 3 a.m. And then the day continues.
Right, 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 right.
I have been blessed by my parents that I would say they have been really willing to take care of me when I was even when I'm like working these long hours because of the fact that when I wake up, I know that the night before my mother would have at least prepared the vitamins that I need to take so that I can really go out, perform my best. Because as Andrea said, no matter what, whether you feel shitty, whether your mood is down, fuck, you can even have COVID, but you at least need to be able to perform to a certain level that not only your clients will be satisfied, but you yourself will be satisfied.
Again, very well said. And compared to before you joined the real world, how different was it back then, your average day?
How different was it back then? Well, I will wholeheartedly admit, I have scraped the realm of the degen barrel in the sense of like pornography, um, perhaps like a little bit of like wanting to understand the absurd world, the haram world of like BDSM and etc. But I do think that it ended up being a bit of a waste of time now that I look back at it. Not because I don't like love it, but it's more of there's so many other better things to do. And there's so many other ways that you can take care of people aside from just, oh wow, that's the only thing that matters. Wow, sex is the only thing that matters. No, it's not that. the true thing that matters is ensuring that the people that you are responsible for is like are well taken care of, and how I've managed to change my way after joining the real world is developing a sense of responsibility. Yes, Andrew may be harsh. The things that he may say might be comical, but he at least has a message that people, you need to be responsible for the people that you care about. And I think Tristan really expands more on that and really emphasizes that, whether it's in his emergency meetings or whether it's in the little clips that you see occasionally on YouTube Shorts or on Rumble. So that's the main thing that I would say really helped me grow as a person when I joined the real world is developing a sense of responsibility and understanding that my wherever I am in my craft, you're never perfect. There's always something you can learn from somebody, and if there's a millionaire right in front of you saying, "Hey, you suck. You need to get better at this, this, and this," whether it's your business or whether it's your craft, you have to listen at least. Just shut the fuck up and listen.
Hmm. Interesting. What you were saying about before joining, it's pretty normal though to see the world that way in modern society. So again, just shows how programmed we are towards that direction, which is,
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, basically degenerate, probably best way to say it. Whereas when
yeah,
you're listening to Andrew Tate and you see what a true, like how a family structure should be, how you should be behaving, how you should be treating others, it completely, I mean, it completely makes sense as well because it used to be normal. I don't know, probably 50 years ago. I don't know exact
yeah,
time span, but yeah, that used to be like normal traditional values, and now again,
yeah.
society,
That has
so many
been
people in society,
thrown
just
out the window.
yeah, exactly. And it's completely normal what you were doing before in terms of so many other people, I'm sure, see things the same way as well. But again, it's because of how
Yeah,
society programs us.
yeah.
So yeah. Okay. And since you're on this trajectory now, where do you see your life heading then in the short term, medium term, and long term?
Okay. Short term, I see myself wanting to expand my business and exploring different types of content. So I want to be able to create different content that I'm one passionate about, but your passion can also make you money if you know how to use it correctly. But so what I plan on doing is learning the various ways that I could monetize my passion and make it a business, so that if I want, but having multiple streams, and that's what I plan on doing is that have multiple streams of things that I'm passionate about and that I love working on, but they can all be monetized, so that if so happens one doesn't work out, I can put more focus onto the next one.
Hmm.
So that's what I plan on doing. Obviously, it's good to have one focus and then push it all the way through. So currently, I have two that I'm working on, and I'm going to see it all the way through, and one in the back burner that I'm going to continue probably in the next 2-3 months.
Good.
Yeah.
Solid.
Medium term. Let's move on to that.
Hmm.
Medium term. Well, I would like to get married, and I think the overall consensus that a lot of the red pill generation try to, I'd say, uh, try to insert into the mind. So there's the blue pill, so it's all the transgender bullshit, whatever. Ugh. But then there's the red pill, the people who hate women for the sake of hating women, and it's like, oh, marriage is terrible and everything. Marriage is not terrible if you know that the person that you're with truly, truly loves you and would do everything for you. And I've been lucky enough to get that at a very young age. So, but because of that, because I have managed to receive that at a young age, I have a great sense of responsibility. So, I probably need to grow my wealth, grow my business to the point where she doesn't have to work a day in her life if she wants to. And I can treat her like a queen and she can treat me like a king. So that's the next thing. That's the medium term. Long term, I would love to be a millionaire. It's going to be a difficult, arduous road, but I would love to reach a point where I can look myself in the mirror. I can see myself somewhat fit. I'm not gonna be super confident saying, "Hey, I'm gonna be jacked like Andrew," but at least somewhat fit, and I have somewhat physical fitness to be able to fight as well. And look at myself in the mirror and say, "Hey, you got money. You can kind of fight. Kinda. You're not a professional fighter, but you can kind of fight. You can protect the people that you love, and you're a responsible son and a responsible husband. And you have been able to raise this solely from the fact that you worked hard when you were young, and that's all that matters to me."
Beautiful. Truly is. And yeah, it's great doing interviews with people like you because it just again reinforces what true values are and what people should have as values. I mean, okay, everyone can live their own lives, but at least what I see as very good values is what you have.
Thank you.
And I do, yeah, wish you all the best with fulfilling those. And we'll be
Thank you.
doing follow up interviews to hold you accountable and document your progress.
Yeah,
So that would be super
yeah,
cool.
for sure.
And
I'm
now to,
hoping to expand it overall. Like, I'm hoping to not. I would say in the media industry, especially in Singapore, it's very hard to. I would say very hard, but it's a little bit more challenging to triple an income. It's very difficult uh, to project, but I would at least like to project a two times growth in the next 6 months.
right. Also, I don't like the terminology. You say hoping, difficult. Reframe it. Not hoping, but you will. You will achieve it.
Yeah,
You'll have it.
I will
Okay,
achieve it.
good. And now to wrap everything up, for people who are unsure about joining the real world, because what if they're going to get scammed for $50? What advice would you have to them?
Can I swear?
Yes, yes, you can.
Fuck you. It's not a scam. Pay the $50 so that you can learn from someone who actually knows what they're talking about, and humble yourself to know that you just need to shut the fuck up and listen. There's no need for you to save that $50, even if you lose $50. How is that gonna really affect your life? That $50 can only at most buy you like a nice meal. You lose a nice meal. Oh wow, wow, that's terrible. Wow. So focus on learning how to grow yourself. The lessons that you learn just from one module will quintuple the amount that you spent on just 1 month subscription. So,
Mhm.
in my opinion, go for it. If you chose not to, have fun staying the way you are. Have fun just working uh, your menial job, and yeah, watch the rest of us improve and grow. But if you would really like to join, and this insult hasn't at least sparked a little bit of competition in you, then you can stay where you are. If it has sparked that little bit of competitive spirit that I know every man has somewhat, join the real world, see how it's like, and then make your decision.
Okay, so quite a, again, heartfelt answer. Thank you, Mitchell. And I do look forward to doing a follow up with you in future. If people want to find out more about you or contact you, where can they do so?
Well, you can contact me on Instagram. You can also contact me on my website. There are a few emails that you can contact me. You can also contact me on LinkedIn to be always contactable. Just drop me a message. I'm I'm always responding to messages because any money is good money,
Money.
unless it's haram. But but I think aside from that, you can also check out the YouTube channel that I constantly shoot for, and the various content that I work on. If you would love, I would love to share my knowledge, but at the same time, learn from anyone who thinks that my work can be better. I would love to learn from masters and people who have really sort of hacked the content machine.
Hmm. Okay, so we'll add all of those to the description of the video. Anyone who's interested, do check that. Yeah, Mitchell,
Yeah.
thank you for coming on and sharing
Thank you
your
so much.
story.
Take care.
was very
Yeah.
interesting hearing how you're sneaking into film school. Again, I know I repeated that a few times, but it's just it's a nice story to look back on, for sure.
Yeah, it is. It is a
Yeah.
sweet story. It always tugs the heart of clients whenever they're like, "Oh, how did you get into this?"
I
It's
can
a
imagine so. Yeah,
fantastic story. Yeah,
awesome. Yeah, thank you for sharing your experience with the real world as well. And I said, I look forward to doing follow up. I'm sure you'll do great. Since this is just a side business and you've already generated 32,000, then yeah, big things ahead. And look forward to getting it documented. And until then, I wish you all the best.
thank you so much.